Hi there and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about the Disney dining plan. I have received quite a few questions about the Disney dining plan. I have a few friends that are planning trips to Disney right now and have asked me about it, so I wanted to make a video about it. If you don't know, the Disney dining plan, there are 3 levels of the Disney dining plan. So you pay a flat rate per person on your reservation, and that gives you food credits, and then you use the food credits for food. So a couple basic things to remember are you can only get the Disney dining plan if you are staying on property. So you have to be staying at a Disney World resort. And number 2, everyone on your reservation has to have the Disney dining plan. The other one that I think gets a lot of people is that you cannot have it for like 3 days of your stay. You have to have it for the entire length of your reservation. Now, if you do change hotels in the middle of your trip, which is called a split stay, a lot of people do it, we do it all the time. So you're staying for say 3 days in one room, and then you're switching to another hotel that's on property for maybe another 3 days. You can have it for part of your stay. So you can get it for the first 3 nights or maybe the second 3 nights. However it is that you want to do it. So those are kind of the 3 basic things to always keep in mind with the dining plan. And you only pay for kids if they are 3 and older. Under 2, eat for free. Another thing to remember is that your, like when I say per day or per night, it counts per room night. So if you're staying, say 3 nights, then you would pay like you would pay for 3 days, right? 3 nights. But it would actually, your credits would be good for 4 days. So they're good, like, so you check in on Monday, so your credits start on Monday, and then Tuesday, and then Wednesday night, right? And you check out Thursday morning, your credits are good until Thursday night at 11:59. So you have like 4 days. Does that make sense? Okay, so keep that in mind because a lot of people get confused. So you do kind of have that extra day, I guess on either end, we'll say, to use those credits. Okay, so there are 3 different levels of the Disney dining plan, 3 different dining packages that you can purchase. The first is what's called the quick service plan. The quick service plan gives you 2 quick service credits per day. A quick service restaurant is something where like you go up and you order and then bring it back to your table. You don't have a server. So with the quick service plan, you get the 2 quick service or counter service credits per day, 2 snacks, and then you get a refillable drink mug. The refillable mug can be used at any of the resorts, and it's good for like soda, coffee, water. And regardless of how long you have the dining plan, your mug is good for 14 days. You can use it for 14 days. So if you do a split stay and you do the dining plan on the first part of your trip, the beverage, the mug will work for the second part of your trip as well. Now, the mug is only refillable at the resorts. You can refill it at any resort, not just your resort. The mug has like a little RFID chip in it. And so it knows if it's activated or not, and the soda machines will not work. And there's a timeout. You can only refill, I think your mug, I think it's every 5 minutes. I might not be right on that, but it does not let you like refill it and then maybe dump it in something else and then refill it again. And a lot of people get confused or don't understand, but the refillable mugs do not work in the parks. They do not work in the parks. Because I know at Universal you can buy a refillable mug there and it works in the parks. They do not work in the parks. So keep that in mind. So the quick service dining plan for adults is $52.50 per night, per day, and $21.74 for children. The price in 2019 for kids is going up, so it'll be $23.78 for kids. And then there's the standard Disney dining plan, which will give you 1 quick service credit per day, 1 table service credit per day, 2 snacks, and the refillable mug. I'd say this is probably the most common dining plan people purchase. It gives you a little bit more flexibility. You have that quick service credit, you have the table service credit, which is a sit-down meal. And most table service meals are 1 credit with the exception of signature dining, which are 2 credits. And I'm not gonna name them all here, you can look it up, but those signature restaurants do cost you those 2 credits, and with this dining plan you only have 1 credit per day. So that is kind of the first like can cause you problems if you're eating at a lot of signature restaurants. So That dining plan, that standard dining plan, kind of the middle of the road one, that will cost you $75.49 per day for adults and $25.75 for kids. In 2019, the pricing goes up. The price for adults will stay the same, but the price for the kids will go up to $27.98. Now, the big change in 2018 for this level of dining plan is that when you are at a sit-down restaurant, your meal includes an alcoholic beverage or like a specialty drink, like a milkshake or something like that. That is a nice feature, especially if you do drink, that you will get that cocktail included, which is new. And the final dining plan is the deluxe dining plan, some people call it the premium dining plan. That will give you 3 credits per day that can be used at a table service or a counter service restaurant. You get the 2 snacks and you get the refillable mugs. So you're able with this plan to eat at those signature restaurants, those 2 credit meals, and still have other credits left over. That will cost you $116.25 for adults and $39.99 for kids. In 2019, the price for adults stays the same, but the price for kids goes up to $43.49. So that's the pricing of the dining plan. And you can see that it's not cheap, especially if you're staying like 7 nights, 6 nights, even 5 nights. It can be quite pricey. Now, the price of food at Disney World is pricey. In fact, just a few weeks ago, the prices went up across the board. Now, I have calculations that I have done, and I've actually done them for a couple of trips. I'm going to share one trip with you. And that was based on previous pricing, not since the pricing has gone up. Okay, so I did a little comparison, and I do this after every trip that we take, and it just kind of lets me know, first of all, how much we spent on food, which is always like, oh my goodness. But it also lets me compare that maybe for our next trip, maybe the dining plan is worth it. Now, that has never been the case. Well, I shouldn't say that. On the last trip that we did, we got free dining. It was part free dining, part of the package that we got. We could choose between the free dining or a room discount. When we calculated what the value of the free dining was versus the room discount, and it was a better deal for us to take the free dining versus the room discount, because I knew from previous trips how much we generally spend on food per day, and I knew how much we would spend because I knew the restaurants we were eating at, so it made sense for us to take the free dining for that trip. However, I would never pay for the dining plan. I think that it was free and it was fine, but for us, when I run the numbers, it does not work. So I created a spreadsheet, and that's what I'm gonna kind of look at, and I'm gonna kind of tell you from a previous trip how much we spent on food versus what the dining plan would have cost us. Now for us, the biggest problem with the dining plan is how we eat. It's my husband and I, and we have our 4-year-old son. So what we end up doing is we will order an appetizer for all of us to split, and then 2 entrees, and he will usually share whatever I'm eating. And then we will generally order a dessert. So in that case, we would really only use 2 table service credit. So that does leave us like a table service credit left over, if you will, but then we're also paying out of pocket for that appetizer. The dessert is included with your table service credit. I have heard that some servers or some restaurants will let you use one of those credits instead of for dessert for an appetizer. Personally, haven't had that experience, but I have heard that they do that. So right away, it kind of causes a little bit of a problem with how we decide to eat, because on our last trip we had to then pay for that appetizer. So it's just extra money in the budget. Okay, so when I'm comparing trips, on this particular trip we were there 6 nights and 7 days, and we spent a total of $1,030.86 on food. That includes gratuity. So that is a total of what we spent on sit down, counter service, and snacks. Now, if we would have paid for the dining plan on this trip, it would have cost us $1,060.38. However, we ate at Cinderella's Royal Table for this trip, and that is a 2 credit restaurant. So we would have not had enough credits for that. In fact, when I go through and look at where we ate and whether my son got a meal or we just ate, we would have used 23 table service credits. And we would have only received 18. So that was a deficit of 5 table service credits. We would have had to pay for that out of pocket, which would have been another $107.86, which means that we would have paid in total for the dining plan, and what we paid on top of that would have been $1,168.24, which is $138 or so over what we actually paid. One of my biggest problems with the dining plan is that you are a little bit limited as far as how you eat, what you want to eat, and there's definitely a little bit of guilt for a lot of people who think, okay, well, this is what the credit is valued at. I need to order the most expensive thing on the menu, and it may not be necessarily what you would have wanted to order. Now, on this particular trip, we had a lot of table service meals. We did a lot of character dining, and the buffets are 1 credit. It was hot this trip, and so we liked to do, especially in the summer, we like to do the table service restaurants because we get to sit down, regroup, have a nice meal, it's an air conditioned, and just relax for a little while. So we did not eat at a ton of quick service restaurants. We did eat at quick service, but not a ton. So those credits, we would have used only 14 quick service credits, and we would have received 18 of them. So we would have had 4 extra credits that we did not use. Now, when it comes to snacks on this trip, because we were eating at so many table service restaurants, we didn't eat a lot of snacks. We didn't want a lot of snacks. We had got, let's see, a lot of times we order water from Amazon Prime now and have it come to the room, and then when we go to the parks, we'll throw a couple in our bags, we'll throw a couple in the strollers. So we weren't buying a lot of water. We did buy some water, which you can use your snack credit for. A lot of people say it's not a very good value, which it's not, but you know, we didn't pay for a lot of water. If we would have had the dining plan and used snack credits, we would have only used 21 snack credits during this trip, and we would have received 36. That is 15 credits left over for snacks. So a lot of times, I see it every single night. It's the last night of people's trips, and they're at the confectionery, and they're trying to take home as many snacks as they can, as many Rice Krispie treats, as many things as they can, because they have all these snack credits left over that they don't want to go to waste. So that's what we would have been doing. In fact, this last trip when we were on the dining plan and we had all these credits left over, we were at the confectionery at closing getting all of these snacks because we just didn't use the credits. Now, would we have paid money, cash money, to buy all of those snacks? No, it's not something that we do. You know, we'll buy a couple Rice Krispie treats here and there, but do I need a whole handful? Do I need 15 Rice Krispie treats? Plus, we had those 4 quick service credits left over, which you can convert 3 snacks into 1 quick service credit. So that would have been 12 more. So that would have been 27 credits that we could have had snacks for. Now, to me, I'm paying all this money, and I would have had to pay, you know, $107 out of pocket to cover the food that we wanted and the way that we eat, and then have all of these snacks. It just doesn't make sense to me. Now, I will say that, you know, my son is 4 and he is a pretty good eater. Now, when he turns like 15, he's gonna be a really good eater. And so I think that if your family dynamic is one that you are big eaters and that you can eat a table service meal and then go have a quick service meal and then go have snacks, this might work for you. A lot of times people say, well, I like the dining plan because it feels all-inclusive. Well, that's not quite true. If you've ever been to an all-inclusive resort, you do pay for your food, but you're not limited by like credits. You know, you can kind of do whatever you want. You can eat at restaurants, you can eat at the buffet, and you're not limited to the number of times you can eat. So when people say that, I always kind of cringe because it's not really all-inclusive. I mean, you are paying for this and you're only getting a certain number of credits. Additionally, people will say, well, you know, it's paid for. Well, one thing that we do is we know we know how much it's gonna cost us for food. We have a pretty good ballpark when we go. how much we're spending on souvenirs, how much we're spending on food. And so we go to Target and we get gift cards. And we go to Target and get them because we have a Target Red card, the debit card, and you get 5% off on all your purchases, and that includes gift cards. So we will go and get our gift cards at our 5% off. I know it's not a huge savings, but it is a savings. And then go down with as many gift cards as we think that we are going to spend. So that, my friends, is why we do not do the Disney dining plan. It does not mean that the Disney dining plan won't work for you. I think that deciding to do the dining plan is something that it's a personal decision. You need to look at how you eat, how much you're gonna spend on food. So you can go to the website and you can look at every menu for every restaurant and take a look and see what looks good to you, what you're gonna eat. And that is going to tell you how much you're going to spend. It may absolutely work for you. It may absolutely not. Hopefully this video helped you understand a little bit more about the Disney dining plan and why we do not do it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would love for you to subscribe if you have not already. I post fun Disney content every Tuesday and Friday. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!